What's going on, guys? Hope all are doing. Welcome to a new video tutorial on iPinOS channel. So here we are. We've got a brand new video tutorial on learning the coding pretty much and programming and all the different things. We have a really nice topic that we're going to talk about today, and we're going to pretty much create a color picker. So if you've been using color pickers, this kind of using image editors or something, or web image editors, and you should probably be familiar with a color picker. Color picker is pretty much like you get a box where you're just gonna choose the color from hundreds of thousands of different colors, like the red, the green, the blue, and different combinations. So you can just go ahead and choose a different color, and you can use it in whatever you want. So if you've been using Photoshop or any other software that use color picker, you should already be familiar with. So if you're a web developer and you're really intending to create a color picker, or really excited about knowing the way of creating a color picker, you are actually in the right place. So I just want to let you know that you can go ahead and give us some feedback in here about the tutorial, so we can just clearly know what is going on in your mind. If you like the tutorials, if you don't, you can just give us a reason why. You can give us how many stars you like, and also you can just go ahead and check out the Udemy course series that we have got. So we're going to have a bunch of others in here very soon. I'm just going to release them very soon, so make sure to go ahead and check the available right now. Now, let's just go ahead and jump. We're going to use CodePen for this one. So CodePen, just go ahead into codepen.io and everything should be really pretty fine. Here we go. This is the actual preview of the color picker that I'm going to create eventually. By the end of the video tutorial, we're going to create this really nice color picker, as you can see. So this is the color picker. This is the main area where we're going to work on. So as you can see, whenever you move this one, I just going to get a different color in here, a different combination and stuff, and you can just go through as many combinations as I like. I can also go ahead and drag and drop this one, or drag it all over the canvas in here, and it can just pick a random color or a color specifically I want. Let's say like a clear blue or something, a sky blue. And here we go, we've got a sky blue. It's a little bit like this, and we can just go ahead and choose this. So I'm just going to go and create this from scratch, and I'm going to use CodePen for this one. Make sure to go ahead and know the basic thing about JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and let's just go ahead and start doing this. So here we go, we've gotten here like a brand new scratch project from scratch. As you can see, it has nothing, only has some HTML code and some CSS, so we can just quickly get started and just dive right into the code. The main thing that we came here for creating the color picker main algorithm, the main code responsible for displaying and choosing and different colors and stuff like this. So here we go. This is the CSS, the basic thing. Now for the HTML, we have just an H2, just its color here, some kind of random text. We have a div container that contains both of these elements. We're going to use the flexbox right in here. As you can see, the container uses pretty much a flexbox design. So just go ahead and center all the items in the center of page, and pretty much just like show them on a rail right here, and this is all we do. Basic as this. Also for the HTML body, just going to take the full width and full height so we can use it, and we use some custom fonts and centering text and stuff like this. And we have a canvas, so this is the main area we're going to work on for the color picker. To create a color picker, you're going to need the Canvas API, the WebGL 2D rendering thing used by the web browser. So just going to go ahead and use the Canvas for this particular job. So if you're not familiar with the Canvas or something, just go ahead and go to the Mozilla framework or web developers documentation, and make sure to go ahead and check out the canvas right there. We have div informations in here, just going to display the selector color here. This is the information, just for quickly taking a look on which color we are picking, and we can clearly say and which color we are actually currently picking. It's quite basic, so there is a selector and selector color, and this is all we're going to need to do. And make sure if you really need to get rid of all of the different things, you can just go ahead and keep up the canvas right here with an ID color picker, and this is all you're going to need to do. Also make sure to go ahead and copy this quick CSS in here. You can use however you want. It's not very specific or something. Just adding the borders in here into the canvas thing, so we can just clearly know where is our color picker, and we just like give it a border and stuff like this. And also for the information, we're gonna use display flex, some margin, some flex direction, something like this. And here as well for the selected thing, just gonna give it like border radius 100% to give it a circle, and width of 50 pixels and height of 50 pixels. Simple as possible. Now let's just go ahead and jump into the main area by creating the JavaScript code. The JavaScript is going to be a little bit longer, so this video is going to be a little bit long. And let's just go ahead and start by creating a class. I'm going to use a class instead of like a normal, usual JavaScript thing. In inline JavaScript, I'm just going to go and create a class, so we can just, you pretty much can go ahead and copy this class and use it in whatever code you want later on in your projects or whatever. So we're just going to do this. I'm going to call the class going to be called picker. And for the class, first thing you're going to need to do whenever you create or initialize or try to create a class is probably the constructor. The constructor is going to take three different things. The first one is the target canvas element. So I'm just going to pass in the target element in here. So I'm just going to call the target. The second thing is going to be the width. The third thing is going to be the height of the actual the target of the actual color picker. So width and height, different things, and the target right here. Just go ahead and set this into target equals targets. I'm gonna say this dot width. Just gonna store them into the class. So probably this is all I'm doing. If you're not familiar with the classes on the ESX or the new JavaScript, make sure to go ahead and check out the tutorials on my website right here. Just search in here for the JavaScript classes, the new class syntax, and you can probably just learn whatever you want from there, and you can just get started from there. It's quite simple. Now what we need is set the canvas width and height. So we have to specifically set the canvas width and height. So just go ahead and do this very quickly as well by setting target width and as well for the target height. The target in here we are accessing is the actual canvas element, and I'm just gonna say target height as simple as possible. Now the next thing we're gonna need to get the rendering context, so we can just go ahead and get this context and use it to render on into the canvas right here. So get context in here. The context is responsible for rendering into the actual canvas, and I'm gonna need to get it from the actual canvas element. So just get context function. You should do the job right here. It's actually a function, and this function gonna take a parameter which we're gonna need to 2D because we are working in the 2D, or pretty much we are drawing on a 2D space in there. So this is all the basic thing we need to cover for here. One other thing we're gonna need to put in here is the circle picker. So if you remember on the preview, we've got like a really little circle on the color picker, so we can just pick, using this circle we can pick whatever color we want and we can use it. So we need to initialize the width and the height and X position and Y position for this circle. On the canvas thing, you probably gonna need to initialize for each element you want to render an X and a Y and a width and a height. So everything is having an X and a Y and a width and height and everything like this. So we're just gonna call it picker circle, and just gonna equal to an object. This object is gonna have an X. Let's say I'm going to say the X is gonna be 10. The Y is gonna be 10. I'm just gonna say width is gonna be 7 or something. Just something really small because we don't want to get the circle really big or something like this. So yeah, this is the simplest thing. Now we're gonna need to create a draw function. So this draw function, whenever we call it, just gonna go ahead and take all of the elements and draw our color picker with the circle picker and different things. So I'm just gonna go back into this later on after creating the build function or the build method. The build method is responsible for building the actual editor and adding the colors to the canvas in here and rendering all the different things. Now what we want is actually to build a color picker. So the color picker is pretty much a gradient of colors. So you have like multiple gradients matched together in order to get this really like red, green, blue, I don't know, magenta, yellow, rose, white, black, different things. They all merge together in a gradients mode in order to get this really nice color picker. So we're gonna need to use the gradient API provided by the canvas. So let's just go ahead and create this. I'm just gonna call this gradients very quickly, and I'm just gonna use this dot context and dots. We're gonna use the function of create linear gradients. So this is the function is pretty much responsible for creating a gradient. It takes 4 different elements. It takes the X position, the Y position, and the width and the height. So we're just gonna use the width in here. I'm not gonna use the height because if you really wanna like distribute the actual gradients on width like this and the height like that, so you can use in here. You can put in here this height or something, but we don't want this. As you have seen in the preview, pretty much what we wanted is to create it only on the width, like the color is gonna just only change on the width size, not on the height. The height is gonna be like blue like this, red like this, green like this, and so on and so forth. So this is what we want exactly. So it depends on or how pretty much you want your color picker to look like. So yeah, it's completely dependent from one to another. Now let's just go ahead and add a different color stop. A color stop, like, it just means moving from one color to another. You remember gradients means just moving from, for example, green to white, and just creating ingredients between green and white, or between rose and gold, or something like this. So you can just go ahead and add a color stop. A color stop represents a color, an exact color, like an RGB, red, green, blue. Again, if you're not familiar with that, make sure to go ahead and check out what is an RGB first, because it's a very, very important thing. Now we're gonna need ingredients in here, so I'm gonna need to add a color stop, but I have that already. Like, I saved it in here on the code, so we have all the different things in here. Just to not making the video really long, I'm just gonna copy this one, like make it very, very easy as well. This is responsible for rendering the color picker. If you can clearly read through this, it's quite simple code. Or you have just adding different color stops in here for a different ratio. So for like gradients, it goes from 0 to 1, and you're gonna need like to give it each ratio from 0 to 1, like 0.15, 0.33, 0.49, 0.67, and so on and so forth till the 1th value, pretty much. And here you give it whatever color value. So 255.00 means an absolute red, just a red color, then another red color with a blue. So just gonna get a little bit of combination and different things. So you can add all of those to color stops and ingredients. Now after adding the gradient, what we're doing in here is like rendering. So this is the Canvas API, and this is how you render the Canvas API. I also have video tutorial dedicated on how to use the Canvas on JavaScript. So if you're not familiar with that, make sure you go ahead and watch it. Just go ahead and search this, type in Canvas, and you're gonna get right into the point just by reading through the tutorial or watching the video tutorial, pretty much. Now this is the Canvas. As you can see, we're setting the style to the gradient, and likely we're just going to get the context. Fill rectangle, this is the rectangle. I'm just going to give it the X, starting from the 0th position, Y, and 0th X, 0 Y, and just going to give it the full width and the full height. Remember that we have stored them on the actual thing, and this is all we're going to need to do. Simple as this. So this should just go ahead and draw us the actual gradient color. Now just go ahead and just quickly test this by calling the build function, and the build function should already be like, just go ahead and build it. And after like calling this one, we need to go ahead and create an instance of the actual picker, the class picker. And let me just go ahead and do this. I'm just going to go call it new and picker. Remember, we're going to need to provide it first with the actual Canvas elements, and we're just going to go ahead and use the get elements by ID to get the color picker Canvas by the ID. The second thing, I'm just going to give it like a width of probably, I don't know, something like let's just go with for example 250, and let's just go with 220 for the height, so just to make it perfect a little bit. And this should do the job. Now let's just go ahead and draw the canvas, or draw the color picker to better say. I'm just gonna call the draw function on the picker itself, so it should do the job right now. Just by calling this, and we should probably call draw, and the draw calls this dot build. So yeah, we are pretty much, we're not getting the context. Actually in here we're getting the context. As you can see, this dot target dot get context, but we're not saving it on this context variable under our class. So just go ahead and do this. I totally forgot about doing this. So temp context equals this dot target dot context, so we can make sure that we are saving it. And here we go, we get our color, I think, in here. But as you can see, we get all of them, like red, magenta or something, blue, green, yellow, red, and so on and so forth, different colors, but we're not getting the black and white, so we have to apply the black and white as well. So let's just go ahead and do this. Let me just comment this one, apply black and white, so you can clearly understand what I'm doing in here. And also I have that encoding here, so just to make it simple as possible, I really like just go ahead and type in this from the beginning. So you can just go ahead and copy this one, because this is a standard thing to be done. There's nothing to explain about this one. It's just like a pretty static code thing. So here we're creating another gradient color, just like, you know, discovering right now the width, and I'm just gonna give it the height. And as you can see, adding a color stop from 0 to 0.5, 0.5, 1. In this case, we are in the height instead of the width. So yeah, you can just go ahead and check this function, what it does. Check the documentation pretty much. And obviously, we're just gonna go ahead and render this. So we're rendering the white and the black in here. As you can see, we've got a full color picker after this one. Let's go ahead. Lastly, what we need to add for the color picker is the actual circle selector thing. And let's just go ahead and do this. So for the circle selector, if you can just take a look in the code, what we're doing is just getting the context or arc and just gonna call different things. So let's just go ahead and clearly use the arc method in this one. So first we're gonna get the context dot begin path. The begin path is just gonna start a brand new path. Get context dot, and we're gonna use right now pretty much the arc function. The arc function takes different values. The arc function takes first the x position of the actual circle. So we're gonna use the picker circle dot x, and again, I'll just go ahead and copy this one. Dot y. And the last thing, it takes the radius. For the radius, I'm just going to use the width for now. So just to make it simple, or very, very simple actually. So this is the radius, and it takes the starting pi, or the starting angle. We're going to start from 0, and the full angle, remember the full angle on the mathematics of a circle is pretty much pi times 2. So simple as that. This is all you're going to need to do. Now let's go ahead and render this just by giving it this dot context dot stroke style, and I'm just gonna give it black or something, and this dot context dot fill stroke, or I'm gonna just go ahead and use the stroke function here. I'm not gonna use the actual thing. And the last thing I'm gonna need to do is using a context, and I'm just gonna close the path that we have opened back there, and here we go. We've got a really nice circle sitting up on the top left corner, just waiting for us to move in and add all of the different events. So we can just go ahead and drag it, drop it, select a place in here, and we can move it, and so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and add a function for this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a brand new method pretty much. I'm going to call it event listeners, or listen for events. So just going to be like a little bit better, remember? So yeah, listen for the events, just going to go ahead and listen for the mouse events whenever we want to drag, whenever we want to just click, and the circle should move on, and so on and so forth. So let's just go ahead and add 3 different things. For this one, it's pretty much the same that I did a tutorial on a dragging and dropping different elements on a JavaScript. So it has the same mechanism. You can just go ahead and check it out as well. And from the tutorials, just type in drag and drop using native JavaScript, or just search from the tutorial. Is gonna find it, and make sure to go ahead and check it out if you can't quite understand what I'm doing right here. So on mouse down, so first we're gonna need to get on the mouse down, and is mouse down, so we have to check, have a boolean in here checking if the mouse down or not, and here we're gonna need to check if the mouse is pretty much down, or so we're gonna need to take the event. The second thing is on mouse move, so it also checks if the mouse is moving and actually dragging the circle around the canvas. And the last thing, we're just gonna check for the on mouse up, so we're gonna have like event listener for this one. This basically is gonna do is mouse down, it's just gonna set it to false because the mouse is up and everything. We'll just go ahead and register the event handler. So I'm gonna need to first register the actual mouse down and mouse move on the canvas itself, on the target. So add event listener, and for the event listener, I'm just gonna add mouse down. And for this one, on mouse down. Okay, the second thing, just go ahead and copy that very quickly. I'm gonna on mouse move. So remember, so mouse move. And the last thing, what we need is to register the mouse up event, not on the actual targets, not on the canvas itself. We want to register it on the actual document, because what we want is not just mouse up from the actual target thing. So whenever we mouse out from whatever place on the actual page, on the actual web page we are in, so just gonna like remove the dragging and dropping system. So I'm just gonna say documents. I'll just go ahead and paste this to make it a little bit easier for me. Documents, okay, add event listener. I'm just gonna add the up event listener in here on mouse up. Simple. So this is the different things. So I'll just go ahead and implement on the mouse down. Now on the mouse down, it has like a very specific mechanism to check if the mouse is actually under an element. So we have to get the actual elements we want to check if the mouse is under on position, the X and Y position, and also alongside that we're going to need to get the mouse X and Y position. So two different things. As alongside, we're going to need to get the width and the height of the actual elements we want to check for. So likely, since it's pretty much a circle, so we're just going to need a radius because it just have one radius. So we're going to need to use an if statement. If statement is going to be a little bit tricky. So we're just going to create two variables, the current X. So the current X is going to like represent the current mouse position on the canvas. So we're going to need to get the actual mouse position by the events.client X minus is the actual elements. The actual element is this .target dot offset left. So I'm going to need to like subtract the actual offset lefts from the web page so we can just get it into a local coordinates, local system coordinates thing. Instead of like a global mouse coordinates or global page coordinates. So moving like just the global thing, subtracting the offset left, which is representing the offset of the actual canvas from the left or from the top. We're just going to get into this in a second. And so we can just go into the local coordinates under the actual canvas right there. And also, let me just go ahead and copy this one as well. So paste it down here, and I'm just going to say the top. And it's going to be client Y right now. So instead of X and the top instead of the left. Now we're going to need to do some like really good checking right there, just for checking if the actual mouse is under a specific element or not. So we're going to need to check with this one. So we're going to say the current Y, if the current Y position is as greater than this bigger circle dot Y. So just copy this one. So picker circle dot Y, the Y position, if it's greater than that, and if the actual current Y as well. So I'm gonna have like a duplicate in here, so let me just go ahead and do this very quickly. And the current Y is greater than or less than, pretty much I'm wrong. Also less than the picker circle, this dot picker circle dot Y plus the actual width of it. So this dot picker circle dots width. Since it's a circle, as I've said, width and height are equal, so it has like one single radius. So whether using width or height, it doesn't really matter. And also we're gonna need to check if the current X now, the X turn, is greater than this dot circle picker dot X, and lastly just current X is greater than or less than, I totally forgot, this dot picker circle dot okay, the width right here. So as I've said, the width and the height doesn't really matter. Now this is a checking if we are under the if statement, or if this statement is true, which means the mouse is actually currently under the circle right here. So what we're gonna need to do is just make the variable is mouse down to true. So just set it to true, means that the actual mouse is under the element, so we can just go ahead and drag it all over the canvas. Now here on the mouse move event, what we need is to check if is mouse down. If it is mouse down, it's simply just gonna go ahead and drag and change the position of the of this bigger circle thing. So I'm just gonna set the X to the current X and the current Y. I'm just going to copy them and put them right here again once more. And so okay, this is gonna be equal current X. So and the other thing is gonna be this dot bigger circle dot Y equals current Y. Yeah. pretty basic and pretty simple. As you can see in here, there isn't that much, because what we're doing in here, whenever we want to drag it, is just simply we want to just change the actual circle position X and Y to the current X, mouse X and mouse Y. It's as simple as this. This is all you're going to need to do. And yeah, hopefully now for this if statements, if the mouse is under this one, we're going to need to drag it. Else, if it's not under it, what we want is, let's say we're clicking in here, which means we are in else statement. The mouse is not under the circle element or the circle picker thing element. So we're just going to change the position to this one and set it right there. So just simply just go ahead and copy this one and put it right there, and it should do the job for us perfectly with no problems. And I think we've got a problem right there. An expected token, I think. Well, yeah. So this should equal to a function, since we are using a function, I think. So yeah, an arrow function using the events and stuff. Okay, my bad. And this is the last thing we're gonna need to put, and should everything work pretty much fine. Now for checking this one, if it does work or not, let's just go ahead and initialize this, or call the events listeners whenever we create this on the constructor. So I'm just going to say this dot listen for events. Okay. Let's just go ahead and make sure that this one is matching this one. So we're going to have no problem actually. And we should probably, if everything is pretty much fine with no problems, if the code looks really good with no bugs or something, we should be able to go ahead and drag and drop this on the page. But I think we still, one other thing. So the thing that we're missing in here is, as you can see, we are calling picker.draw only once. So the page, whenever it just initializes, just read through the code and just gonna call the draw once. What we need is just to keep like constantly looping and calling the draw, because whenever we try to like change the position and update this one and move it around, we're gonna need to draw it over and over again on an infinite loop till the page goes off. So what we need is just go ahead and use the set interval. The set interval gonna pretty much do the job for this one, and I'm just gonna call this draw over and over again on 1 millisecond interval. So each 1 millisecond, I'm just gonna go ahead and call this. So we're just gonna go into a loop. So whenever we update the position just gonna go ahead and like look in there. So if you can clearly see this one, whenever I click here, I get this right. I click with no problem. So I click this one, it just tries to follow me, since we have created the set interval thing, and it will pretty much work without problems. We can just go to the white color, green color, whatever, and we can pick whatever color. Now, one other thing we're gonna need is just go ahead and get the selected color. For this one, we're gonna need like a special function or callback. So let's just go ahead and add an onChange function. This change function is going to take a callback. So this callback is going to be executed whenever the actual circle in here, the picker circle changes. Let's say it was in here, it changes in here. The onChange function is going to be called with a new color. So I'm just going to call it with this one. So I'm just going to say callback is going to be called with the actual color. Now we need to get also the color. So I'm just going to say get picked color, another function. Yes, so this get picked color, what it does is just going to go ahead and grab the color, the actual pixel color that's the actual circle right here is on top of. So for this one, I'm going to need to use also the context API. For this context API, it's quite basic as well. We're going to need to get the image data. So I'm just going to say image data equals this dot context dot gets image data. The get image data takes pretty much 4 parameters as well, the x, the start x, the start y. So for this start x and start y, not going to be 0 because we want them to follow the actual circle. So we're going to just go ahead and say the actual circle position or actual circle x and y. So picker circle and x, picker circle dot y. And obviously we're going to need to get only 1 pixel and 1 pixel on the width, 1 pixel on the height, and that's it. Now this is going to be like an array holding the red, green, and blue data. So what we're going to need to do is just go ahead and return an object holding those. So I'm just going to say red is going to be the actual image data that we've got up there from the actual selected color picker, the circle selector. I'm just going to say the data variable, it holds the data variable that holds the actual data. So 0 means red, and I'm just going to say green as well, data. 1 means green, and blue is third elements. So which is 2, the index, and that's it. So I'm just gonna need red, green, and blue. For the alpha, if you really need to intend the alpha, just go ahead and Google how to convert a normal color to alpha and things, because the alpha is quite simple and quite basic. Or you can just go ahead and get the 4th element on this array, and the alpha is just gonna be ready for you out there. So this is all you're gonna need to do. Now I'm gonna call this .getPixColor, and this should return the color. Now for the onChange is actually quite basic. Whenever we call this set interval and the onChange, now we need to like bind this onChange into the mouse move. So I'm just gonna say another thing, like add another listener to the onMouse move event in there on the actual canvas, and I'm just gonna say this dots onChange callback, and I'm just gonna execute it. So I'm gonna use an inline function, an arrow function, just to execute it. As you can see in here, onChange callback. Now let's go ahead and register the onChange callback. So I'm just gonna say this dot onChange callback equals the actual callback, but I'll just go ahead and remove that. So this won't work for us if we try to execute it in there. We have to store in the class. Then later on, we register it on the actual events. And whenever the changes, the cursor changes, I'm just going to call this event passing in the actual color. And the color is going to be passed right here. So I'm going to be right over here. So I'm just going to say getPixColor. And it should just going to go ahead and get the color. Now we can go ahead and call the onChange thing. I'm just going to say picker.onChange, passing it a callback function, and this is going to be it. Now for this one, what we're going to need to do is just get the selector. So selected container is the document that gets elements by class name. The class of this one is selected. Obviously, what we want is just going to go ahead and get the documents container for this one, for this particular thing, so we can change the color of it. And lastly, what we need to do is just going to say selected.style, and we're going to need to change the background color, so to make it look like it actually changed in the color, equals the RGB color for this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this, the RGB function, and I'm going to first pass in color.r. The second thing is color.blue or .green. So .green, and lastly, but not least, is the color.blue. So quite basic, as you can see, with no problems. And we only have spell, just like make sure to go ahead and type in here RGB. I still spell this pretty much. And the other thing for the dragon is not working is like we have totally forgot about adding this one, another condition, which is this picker circle.x plus the actual width of it, or to better say the actual radius. And this should all of it be, as you can see now, if we try to just go ahead and click on point on the canvas, it should pretty much work fine. As you can see, the color is changing with no problems. And if you can just go ahead and drag this one, so just by just holding it, dragging it all over the way one, you can go ahead and get the color you wanted. So that was actually, guys, for today's video tutorial. That was a really perfect thing, really funny. I really enjoyed making each piece of this tutorial of the color picker and a lot of things, because I've learned a lot of things alongside of you. You learn pretty much. I also learned digging and developing and trying to find and solve problems on different things by doing these video tutorials for you guys. Something else for watching, as I've said again, hopefully you can just go ahead and catch you on another video tutorial, and you can just go ahead and check the new tutorials that I made every week, every day, on my YouTube channel, also on my social platforms. Watching this episode again, I will catch you all guys, hopefully, in another video tutorial. So, see you all guys next one.